Hi, I'm Sondra Fraleigh, and I'm going to talk to you about 5 kinds of phenomenology as stepping stones toward dance improvisation and approaches toward researching dance at the intersection of body and nature. Listeners on Zoom have the option to engage the essay through informal performance. And sketches 6 kinds at a glance. I said 5, but no, we're going to have 6. Transcendental, existential, heuristic, hermeneutic, performative, and ecological. We emphasize ecological phenomenology and finish with this since the convergence of body and nature are important to phenomenology. This presentation relates to my recent book with the University of Illinois Press, Back to the Dance Itself, Phenomenologies of the Body in Performance. To begin with, phenomenology is the study of experience. In particular, it studies consciousness of experience. Philosophical phenomenology is basic and emphasizes suspension of judgments in order to apprehend the obvious that is obscured by ordinary perceptions. In this performative essay, we travel through a series of phenomenologies while filling in the blanks with dance improvisation. You could also perform this essay in a group with a reader, an audience, and one or more dancers, as I have done in several settings. And we're going to get started with that. Transcendental phenomenology. In 1900, Edmund Husserl stated the foremost phenomenological position as temporal and transformative, to belong to the flowing change of the world. He wrote this in about 1932, to be and become beyond first glance, to challenge the prejudice of perception, to see implausibly beneath veneers, and to transform through kinesthetic discovery. Somatic movement arts have a philosophical basis in Husserl, later resourced in Mari's Merleau-Ponty, and in the current phenomenology of Maxine Sheets, John Stone, and my work as well. To dance. Imagine, I invite you to dance, in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, that we fill in the blanks with dance, with curves and falls and lines that converge, with seeds and pods that begin in the body's imagination. Take time to sense the blankness. Let your body teach you what comes next, with others in mind. Existential phenomenology. Risking unpredictable experiences through an existential lens, phenomenology turns toward variables of intention and takes a more intimate, interpersonal, and psychological stand. Orientation of intention is complex in dance improvisation. Dancers don't think, then move. This would be a halting dance indeed. Like movers in general, which includes all of us, dancers think what they are doing while they move and not before. Over time, we become what we do, ongoing or stopping, while fading at once. As an improvisation, life itself is temporal and impermanent. Existentially, life is of time and change. Merleau-Ponty suggests a dance like a musical reversibility. What goes one way in perception can reverse. His last book, The Visible and Invisible, presents sentient life through time-space entwinings, folding into and unfolding what he called the flesh of the world. Dance improvisations risk existential potentials in discoveries, failures, and successes. In cases of perceived failure, improvisers can pick themselves up, dust themselves off, continue, stop, or start over at will. Where do questions of art enter into improvisation? Susan Cozell, a phenomenologist and relational aesthetician, holds that the intersection of participants in artworks is the art. The products of art activities are basically intersubjective and interactive. Art is a social phenomenon, not complete as art until it is shared and valued. We value things we call art and share them in various ways, as I write in Dance and the Other, Chapter 4 of Dance and the Lived Body. The myth of the lonely genius is romantic, and of course there are people who seem extraordinary in various arts, but they don't become extraordinary through exclusion. Their art increases in being shared and valued interactively with others. The processes of making and appreciating art draw people together. We see the world through the artist's eyes and rebound with it through the dancer's body. We are the geniuses of art. Arthur Schopenhauer wrote in 1818, on the precipice of the Romantic Age, "The genius is that we people understand so complex a phenomenon as art. Fill in the blanks with relatively large and slow random timings, messily tangled shapes, obsessive gestures, morphing toward possible selves and other animals." Heuristic phenomenology, signal qualitative research processes. Psychologist Clark Moustakis and others charted this discovery path, one that makes use of photographs, narrative, and video links in phenomenology, anything that will boost dimensionality of the written word. Heuristic research often proceeds stylologically in psychological and social sciences, as in the arts. To live in the world is to live with others, to play, to work and improvise relationships. Our individual and communal stories extend relational awareness and autobiographical consciousness. Harking back to Husserl, heuristic research doesn't determine its data or narratives in advance. Rejecting narrow interrogations as it does, heuristics could be blamed for lack of critical thinking. But its project is not criticism, even as critical points can arise. The original insight or topic of heuristics is provisional and might change with explorations and findings. This discovery approach to phenomenology revalues philosophical introspection, abetting structure, pattern, culture, and change. Heuristics also values nonverbal materials of research in art and performance. Thus, choreographies, dance as archive, political activism, oral histories, and dance improvisations are altogether ripe materials for heuristic phenomenology. To improvise dance again. Migrations, fill in moments before waking, while finding presence there and now, feeling what comes next, and how the spine moves the pelvis in spirals. Horizons can remind us that we dance with needs and meanings in mind. Or we dance because it takes us out of ordinary life and circles us back into it with change and others as intermediary. I enter the circle of dance to witness and write, to collaborate and teach, and stir dances in others, and to immerse myself in the complexities of improvised moments. I love the raw immediacy, physical memory, and wordless somaticity of dance as a medium of expression. Perhaps what Martha Graham conjured aesthetically as blood memory, also considered culturally as blood memory, from pre-colonial Africa to current African-based dances and choreography at a recent dance conference called Back to the Root. Along another aesthetic spectrum, Japanese Buto, first arising after World War II, speaks to me of an eternally slow morphology in nature: descent, weakness, compassion, appearing and disappearing, vulnerability, crisis and aging, even as the effects of Buto continue to expand globally. Now, you don't have to do Buto here, but you could enter your weak body, your vulnerability, your nature body, remembering and filling in. Your weak body already arriving. What do you care about? Remaining. Traveling together and parting. Your serpent spine for balance. Your pelvis for strength, complexity, and continuity. Take your time to improvise your weak and vulnerable body.